The mind is the most powerful tool in your arsenal. I created this podcast as a daily supplement for you to invest into your thinking. This is your
daily mind medicine.
How you behave in a season of calm, in large part, determines the chaos in a season of crisis. Now, there's nothing you can do about that right now because we're currently in a season of crisis. How you behave in a season of calm and a season of peace determines whether you have calm and peace in the middle of a crisis. I think the first thing people need to understand is that we have, in large part, as a civilization, we have gone through difficult moments before. Now, I'm not going to be the person that stands here and is like, we've done this before, because a lot of what's happening is unprecedented. And if you don't know what unprecedented means, it means it's never happened before, ever. You know, you could say that the bubonic plague happened. You could say that, the Spanish flu happened. But when it comes to the markets, and there are some people that are freaking out, and this is to large extent unprecedented. But I wanted to give you a peek into the way that I am thinking. If that's okay, I wanted to peel back the curtain a little bit into the way that I am currently thinking, into the way that Chris is currently thinking. And I don't want to necessarily give you advice right now because I'm not probably qualified to do that. I don't necessarily want to give you advisory services because honestly, I don't know. We've never been here before. But I do want to give you some insight into how am I navigating through the current climate, if that is okay with you. Because I believe that the secret to successful mitigation starts with your thinking. It starts with how you process the world around you. And for most of you, it probably starts with a little bit of a disconnect, a healthy disconnect away from what you're currently seeing in the media and the news. The first thing that I want to tell you that I really don't like is opportunists. Opportunists. I think there's a lot of people who the only thing they focus on in a crisis is how to capitalize on it. And I'll tell you that first and foremost, that is not what you will find here at Traffic and Funnels. It is not what you will find at WealthCap, and it's not what you will find at Sales Mentor. I was getting on to somebody, I wasn't getting on to them, but I was really challenging them and in large part chastising them because, they were thinking through all of the ways that they could profitably capitalize in a season where people are experiencing great pain and great fear and to a large extent panic. And I think as marketers, this is a group of marketers, we have to be careful that we are not contributing factors to the fear and the panic that is running rampant in society. I don't respect you if that is your state of mind. I don't respect you if that is your MO. If the first time you see somebody who is experiencing fear, you think first and foremost, how do I profit from this fear? I'm not saying that you shouldn't do marketing. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be wise and a good steward of your talents. But what I am saying is that as people, we need to come together to make sure that people are okay. As a business owner, as a business leader, as a successful entrepreneur, you should be first and foremost focused on giving, not necessarily taking. I heard a great quote from somebody not like 3 days ago. When you see somebody that's elderly in line, you should let them cut in front of you. You should call the people that you know that are elderly, and we see from the data that according to the health professionals, people who are older are more at risk, more susceptible. You should call them and you should see, hey, why don't you let me go get groceries for you? But if you do see them at the store, I was at the store last night at Publix here in Nashville, you should let people go in front of you because a lot of people are scared. I have grandparents that are scared to go out. And I think you owe it to people, if you have influence, to share this message. Stay away from large groups. Yes, it's stupid. People in Nashville 2 nights ago were partying on Broadway. How stupid do you have to be so self-obsessed you are going to just balk at any type of accountability, balk at any type of constraints? And I saw somebody that is a buddy of mine who is using their influence to really get people to do the right things. Anyways, I've been talking a lot about ethics because I think it's really important. But how do I think in times of crises? Number one, it's an opportunity for us to grow. Notice I'm not talking about being opportunistic. I'm not saying it's an opportunity for you to take advantage of other people because they're afraid. This mindset is really important. You got to understand that this is an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to progress. It's an opportunity to advance. But more than anything, it's an opportunity for me to grow personally. Nobody knows what they're made of until they're tested. Nobody. Nobody knows how strong they are until the weight is racked up on the bench and you have to push. You hear what I'm saying? First and foremost, it's an opportunity to grow. Second, I believe that the worst thing to happen to people in the midst of a crisis, in the midst of a moment where people are fearful and afraid, I think the worst thing that you could do is to retreat and become a recluse. Now, this might sound like I'm conflicting with what I said earlier, because I'm not talking about physically becoming a recluse. I'm talking about what happens to your minds. What happens to the way that you process through the journey. All of us have come through something in our lives that were difficult or stressful or taxing. The fear does more damage and it does more harm than the actual thing itself. What's more dangerous than any type of virus, any type of sickness, is the fear that has plagued humanity to go into this massive frenzy. It's amazing. It's amazing how fear can become an instrument that can accelerate and can speed up a bad situation and ultimately make it worse. Now, I've done a lot of research. In fact, my wife was making fun of me this weekend because I spent like 10 hours reading articles and researching and getting all into everything. I think we have an obligation to play it safe right now. I think we have an obligation to play by the rules right now. I think we have an obligation to not just be like, well, this doesn't matter and this is not a big deal. Ultimately, the person who loses is you, because it takes away the ability to healthily process what's going on around you and advance through it. As a group of entrepreneurs, we have to help each other advance. We're on the same team, man. We're all on the same team. At the end of the day, as a human being who is an entrepreneur, we are on the same team and we have a responsibility to help each other advance through. Advance and to progress in spite of. Be safe. Obey and mind the leaders that are giving us directives. Pull together as a community. I'm here to help you. We are all in this together. You know, most of the business in the United States of America is run by small business, not by large corporations. You walk around downtown, those restaurants are small businesses. People are hurting, people are struggling, and we need to be there for each other. But at the same time, do not become the person who is riddled and mastered by fear. It's time for everyone to grow. Adios. Big, beautiful things ahead. All right, guys.
DailyMindMedicine.com